things you will need: a glass, I got mine from Dollar Tree, 2mm rhinestone chain, scissors, a ribbon or a bow, E6000 glue, tweezers, an applique or flatback rhinestone, something for buttons, and you will also need a cake knife set. So to begin, what you want to do is you want to apply the E6000 glue right on the edge of the cake knife, on the end of it. So for this particular knife that I wanted to do, I cut a diamond off of my applique, but if you purchase flatback stones, then you can apply a flatback stone to the end, or you don't have to do anything at all. You can just apply maybe 3 to 4 rhinestones off of your chain and put those going straight across. So you'll see I used one oval rhinestone to place right there on the end, and then what I'm going to do is take my rhinestone chain and go around that one stone in the center. So I'm using my tweezers to help me pick up and place my rhinestones in the E6000 glue. I prefer to use tweezers when I'm first putting the rhinestones on because it helps give me a more precise placement of the rhinestone chain. So once you put those on, the only thing you have to do is just wrap. Put your glue on and just wrap and pull the rhinestones around in the circle. And if you do put a stone on the back of the cake knife, you want to put that stone on first and then let it dry for a little bit, because mine kept moving, which I didn't really care that much. But if you're a perfectionist, then my warning to you is to put the stone on by itself and let it dry for a couple minutes. So like I said, the only thing you have to do is wrap and pull, and you'll occasionally see me grabbing my tweezers just to fill in or close a little gap that I may have had. Alright, so now we're at the end, and I have this little piece at the top, and I'm gonna just put my glue right at the top of where those stones are. So those stones are gonna go right at the edge, and it's not gonna go all the way around because it won't fit. So what I did was I put the glue at the top, I measured the size to where I wanted the stones to stop, and then what I did was pull it and cut it. So depending on which cake knife you have, this may vary, but mine had like this little piece, this little circle piece at the top that kept turning, and so I wanted to glue it shut because it was getting aggravating me. And the stone, like I said, the stones aren't going to go all the way around, but you're going to be holding it. 2 people's hands are going to be on it, so you probably won't even be able to see it that much. And you just want to fill that gap in to where those stones are to make it a flush and polished look. So depending on whatever you have to put on the top, I chose an applique that matched my glass, well, to match the glass that I did, or that I am going to do, which will be in the second part of this video. What I did was I measured my placement to see where I wanted it, and then I took my E6000 glue and placed it on the back, making sure that I got the corners and the top very well, and I placed that where I had it. I used my tweezers to place it so that I wouldn't have to do a whole lot of moving around, because if you get the E6000 glue on the stones that you don't want it on, you have to use acetone to clean it off, and it'll be a whole mess. So use your tweezers to get a very precise placement of everything when you're dealing with stones. Okay, y'all, this part is so ghetto, but this is all I could think of. So to let this dry, it needs to have pressure because this is a round object and appliques are meant to be placed on clothing, which is more flat. They're meant to be sewn on. So if you have an applique like mine that's originally meant for a belt, you'll want to get some foil and you'll want to wrap it around really tight, and you'll want to grip it and press that down into the glue and let that dry. So you can, whatever you use to put pressure on it, cling wrap, foil, whatever you have, you want to keep this pressure and you want to make sure the edges are laying to the curved sides. Moving on to our glass. In the last video, we completed our cake knife set. So that is the finished product, and putting the foil really helps because it lets it go to that curve and it makes it stay down to that curve. So moving on to our glass. This is the one that I did for the bride, which is myself. I put the applique, the matching applique, on the glass. And for his, I'm going to be doing a bow tie with some ribbon I made. And with the bow tie, what I also added was buttons. So for these buttons, the only thing I used were, these are sequins with one of the rhinestones from the chain glued to the inside. I believe I used a hot glue gun or maybe E6000 glue, I'm not sure. But those are my buttons that I'm going to use. So his glass is going to resemble a tuxedo. Okay guys, part two. So for this part, you will be using the same 2mm rhinestone chain that we used in the first part of the video, and the link will be in the description box. So you still need your tweezers to place the initial row of rhinestones on your glass. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your E6000 glue and you're going to apply the glue at the bottom of the glass, the very bottom of the glass, not the part that goes on the table, but the very bottom. It's not a rim, but the very bottom part. You should be able to fit 2 rows on the bottom of that glass. If not, some people will buy bigger glasses, but I got my glasses from Dollar Tree and I fit 2 rows at the bottom. And then you're going to move on and place your glue at, move on to the next row, which is kind of like the top of the bottom. I hope that makes sense. You'll see in a minute. At the bottom where you first began, you'll have a small gap. When the complete glass is finished, you want to make sure you look at the bottom and place that part in the back. So whichever side that gap is on, you'll place your bow tie or your appliques on the opposite side of where that is. And when you get to the top, if you don't have a full applique to cover the entire glass, then you want to make sure you line the top gap with the bottom gap. You'll see at the end what I mean by the top gap, because you're going to be swirling these rhinestones around and it has to end, and it's not going to be a complete end, like you're going to see the end where you stop. So you want to line those ends up. Now you want to place this glue right at the above where your last 2 rows ended, and you want to just go around. Don't put too much glue on there if you don't work that fast, because the E6000 glue does dry kind of fast. Not extremely fast, but it dries pretty fast if you're working slow. So just go around and you just want to swirl those rhinestones around and just keep going up and up and up until you're satisfied with where you're ending at. twirl, twirl, and twirl. This is all you have to do is turn the cup and pull. Turn the cup and pull. Literally. All you have to do is turn the cup and pull. Make sure that you're not getting any gaps. The tweezers are only for the initial, when you're placing it on the first time. After that, you can use your hand. It's literally so easy. Good job, guys. These glasses are literally so beautiful. For those of you who just like the stem done, then by all means you can stop here and you will have a beautiful stemmed wine glass that will still look just as great versus the whole thing. But for you guys who are gonna keep going, continue to twist and pull. Okay, so I hope you guys can see where these don't line. Well, the bottom part is uneven. I made sure I lined it up, and now I'm just gonna put a little bit of glue where it stops at after I cut it, and I'm just gonna tack it down. Alright, so this part was not in the materials list, and I am so sorry, but I had to use a hot glue gun to put the bow tie on. I originally tried the E6000 glue, and it won't, like, it'll stay, but it just makes it look really bulky. But you can use it and use the aluminum foil to wrap around it to make sure that it stays, but I really didn't feel like letting it dry, so I went with the hot glue gun method. I just put the hot glue on there, pressed it down, and I'm also going to use the hot glue gun to apply the 3 buttons. Thank you all for watching. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you did not enjoy this video, give it a thumbs down. See you guys in the next video.